Waxing On with RJ, episode 15. This is Jake Jackson. This is my brother Ridge Jackson, and today we got a little bit something different for you. We've been seeing this on YouTube because we watch a lot of like vinyl and CD guys and just people in the vinyl community, and we thought we would do our own video of a thread that's going around called the 10 albums you play the most.
Right.
So these are not necessarily our favorite albums or our favorite bands or our favorite artists, but just 10 albums that we've played the most, and we put our own rules on it. We put in the last 5 years.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to go way back.
Yeah, and then we put another asterisk because it's our show. We can do whatever we want. And we couldn't just stick to 10, so we had some honorable mentions. And Ridge, would you like to, mention some of your honorable mentions first?
Oh, yeah. So I can do my honorable mentions. I actually just realized that I didn't get them out. So I'll go with one, which is Cattle Decapitation, Terracite. It came out this year, but the amount of times that I've spun this record is a lot. It's pretty crazy. It's a very, very good record. Very. I'm trying to hold back by saying it's my favorite Cattle Decapitation record, but I've only listened to like 3. I haven't really gone back that far, but it's definitely my favorite out of the last 3 for sure. But yeah, that would be one. I'll organize that later. Then I do have also Fossilization, He Whose Name Was Long Forgotten. Very, very good death doom band. This came out, I think, 2021. Can't really remember, but fantastic one that I spun a lot. Let's see. I think the other one's actually over here. I've got 2 more. Yeah, I'm not prepared right now. I just realized that, but we'll get there. Yeah, I forgot where that Friendship, Love the Stranger was definitely a very good honorable mention for me. It's in here somewhere, I know, but love that album a lot. Spun it quite a bit.
Is that the one that came out last year?
Yeah, it came out last year. A lot of my stuff, some of it's came out in this year or the year before, but then I've got some older stuff. But it's a really good folk kind of indie, alternative, country indie, well, I don't know, some kind of stuff. But I like it a lot. It's fun, makes me feel good. And that's what you need in music. So
absolutely.
Got that one, and I think that may have been all of my honorable mentions that I had down.
Okay.
Let me double check. And then Entombed. That was one. Wolverine Blues. Yeah. Entombed. Wolverine Blues.
All right.
Like, to me, godfathers of that kind of HM2, like Swedish death metal, like them and Dismember, stuff like that. But
okay.
Very, very good. Those are my honorable mentions.
Cool.
Did you have 4?
I have 5 because I'm
5?
crazy,
okay.
And I can't, I had to. So I got a couple CDs, cassettes, vinyl. The first one we're going to go with is a CD from a band that I love, from an album that came out in 2020 called Big Vibe by Seaway. This was one of the best releases for me in 2020. I literally spun this. I've spun this so much that I honestly probably need a new copy of it because it's all scratched up and all that. And I need to get the vinyl, honestly, because I'm not, like I said, nothing against the band or Pure Noise Records, but I like jewel cases, not digipacks. So
I cannot stand digipacks because so you can try and take care of it, but every time you open that, you're creating like this crease over here in the side.
And you also scratch the CD when you slip it in there. So, but it's a fantastic album. It's a Canadian band. I've seen them many times. Hope to hear new music from them soon. They're like a pop punk band, but this is like pop punk meets the Cars. So if you like early Cars and pop punk, you'll dig it. Seaway, Big Vibe.
Hell yeah.
My second one. What's an episode of Waxing On without mentioning H2O? This is Don't Forget Your Roots from 2011 on Bridge 9 Records. This is my absolute favorite covers album ever. This is like a perfect album to, like, when you don't, like, for me, like, you don't know what to throw on, you don't know what to listen to, or when you're with your buddies or your friends or you're drinking beers or whatever, because it's got, it's just got all the greatest, like, punk and hardcore covers. It's got Bad Brain covers, The Clash, Social Distortion, The Descendants, Dag Nasty, Madball, Mighty Mighty Boss Tones, and I just love it. H2O, Don't Forget Your Roots. And then here's an album that is a wild card, not a type of music that we talk about a lot on this channel, but it's one of my favorite albums of all time, honestly. Discovered a few years ago, and that is Jackie Jackson from 1973. Jackie Jackson from the Jackson 5.
Nice.
This was released on Motown, and it was like, I'll be honest with you, it wasn't a big hit.
Oh, really?
It was not.
No.
It was. This is a kind of like a rare album. Like, it was, kind of, I don't know, not swept under the rug, but it wasn't pushed,
right.
by, but I love it for some reason. I love anything Jackson. I collect anything that's a Jackson 5, Jackson album. So when I heard this a few years ago in 2019, delivering pizzas, I'd listen to this album all the time. And I don't know, I can't explain why, but I love it. And it's one of my favorite records of all time. And then here's another artist that I mention a lot, rapper, singer, songwriter, whatever, a legend to me, Asher Roth, Paps and Jazz Sessions here. From the vinyl came out in like 2016, but the actual mixtape came out in 2011. The vinyl version's 8 tracks. This was like the soundtrack to my going into high school. Like, I listened to this every day, and then it's been in my rotation ever since. And I'm glad that I was able to get it on vinyl a few years ago. And then my last pick is one of my favorite bands of all time. Could have been in my top 10. I think one of the greatest debuts in history.
Oh, yeah.
One of the greatest metal records ever. Super influential, and that is the first Slipknot album. Never gets old. It's raw. It's in your face. It's different. It's unique. I love everything about it. And yeah, that's my last honorable mention. The self-titled Slipknot album from 1999.
Man, that was me in middle school. Like, that whole record is just me in middle school.
I still listen to it. Like, that's another album when I don't know what to listen to and I want to listen to something hard. Let's be honest. The first 6 tracks.
Or if you want something really hard to karaoke at an 8th grade dance party.
That is true. Which one did you do? Did you do Wait and Bleed? Or?
Yeah, I did Wait and Bleed.
I think, if I could do karaoke, if I go to like a bar, I would probably do Sick. But, but the first few tracks, though, you get the sample, which is shout out to number 5, Craig Jones, 133. The whole thing, I think it's Sick. That goes into Sick, has another greatest sample ever, Al Pacino saying, "Here comes the pain."
Yeah.
Then it has Eyeless, and then it has Wait and Bleed. Then it has I'm drawing a blank here, folks.
It happens.
Then the 5th track is Surfacing, then Spit It Out. Those first 6 tracks are perfect. But yeah, those are my honorable mentions. Ridge. So to not go an hour long, we're gonna do, for our actual picks, we're gonna do 5 at a time.
Yep.
So
we're going to kind of rapid fire some of these.
In random, no order.
Yeah, random, no order. Some of these, like, we're not gonna go in depth and talk about all kinds of stuff about the album. We're just this is what we've spun the most, blah, blah, blah. That's how it's going to go. But I'll go with I'll just do a random. Well, actually, the first one that's right here. But CONVERGE, Jane Doe, released in 2001. By far my favorite CONVERGE record. It pretty much opened the floodgates for CONVERGE, in my opinion. Like, this is when they broke huge, like, and made them into the mega band that they are. So there's that one. Let's see.
I just got my first CONVERGE album in the mail yesterday that I own. I thought it was right to own. You got to have at least one CONVERGE album in your collection.
Yeah, I got that too. And
The Dusk and Us.
The Dusk and Us.
Which is my favorite. I'll be honest. I don't know why, but it's my favorite.
But like I have the Dusk in Us, and then I have the 7-inch, that 7 inches that has the extra tracks on it.
I think I got you that.
Maybe I got the one with Melancholia and stuff from Death Wish.
Okay,
So
I know I got you some sort of CONVERGE 7-inch. I thought,
but it's really cool. But I mean, the vinyl looks crazy.
Oh yeah,
like I think it sounds more full. Like there's like it's kind of brought like the bottom end and like tightened up like the mid range a little bit than the regular pressing, because I like put on the old one just to see, and it totally sounds a little bit better. I don't even know if they did a remaster on it, but they probably did. Okay, so I have my Jane Doe, my first one. How many were we doing here?
5.
5. We're gonna do 5 and 5.
5 and 5.
Okay.
Rapid fire.
All right. So my next one is Electric Wizard, Witch Cult Today. Some of my favorite doom, stoner rock, metal that's out there. Love Electric Wizard. I like the imagery. I mean, the riffs are just nasty and crushing and fantastic tone. So it's always kind of drawn me to them. Let's see. Okay, since we're going from doom, then I'll go with Black Sabbath self-title. Yeah, I mean, they started there. That wouldn't exist without this. Yeah. I mean, this was released in what, 72? I believe. Let me double check my notes here. My stupid phone that won't work. Yeah. Oh, 1970, actually. 1970. You got so many. The whole album from front to back is amazing. Like, you don't. But the thing that I love so much about this album is when I listen to it, I try to put myself in the headspace of thinking about how it would be to be back in like 1970, 1969 and hear this.
I'm sure it's the craziest. It was
like you would lose your mind.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like I would love to experience that. Okay, so I've got 3. We'll go with Cure, Wish. The Wish, actually, Disintegration is probably my favorite Cure record, but this was the one that I have spun the absolute most. Very, very underrated album, released in 1992. Love it. If you haven't heard it, you like The Cure, check out Wish. And then, another album of mine that I've spun for a long time, so many times. I finally got a copy a while back, but Interpol, Turn on the Bright Lights. This came out in 2002. Really good rock, post-punk kind of stuff.
We have a guest here.
Sorry.
We have Ridge's cat licking my Sunny D seltzer.
Yeah.
He's just chilling. Agent Cooper.
Agent Cooper's just over there just licking that can.
He loves it.
He loves that. All right, anyways, but yeah, spun this one a lot. That is 5 for me. So are we? Right. Are we ready for your 5?
Ready for mine. This is just in no order here.
Yeah.
The first one. Well, because I'm crazy, and I gotta have some. Because if I love an album so much, I gotta have 2 copies of it.
Are we doing multiple copies?
I brought every physical format I that I found quickly for this. And this, my first pick is from 2021, my favorite record of 2021. Can't Swim's Change of Plans. I loved it so much, I bought 2 copies of it. This record was fantastic. I spun it all the time. Like, the album didn't come out until October, and I listened to it so much in that time that some of the songs were in my top 5 for Spotify, and they only track it till like November or whatever. That's how much I played
right.
And this is amazing. This is arguably their heaviest record, produced by Will Putney. I love it. 11 tracks. Yeah, 11 tracks, Pure Noise Records. Can't say enough of great things about Can't Swim, one of my favorite bands. It's my first pick. Second one, not even going to go into a big, long discussion about this one. because I talk about this band all the time. Trophy Eyes, The American Dream. This is the album that I've listened to the most in the last 5 years, without a doubt. I love it. They're perfect to me. This album changed my life. Amazing band. Can't say enough great things about them. My next pick is another one of my favorite bands, and to me, the heaviest record of the last 5 years for my ears, my taste, visual music. That is Code Orange's Underneath. Love this band, hardcore punk band from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, with Trophy Eyes and Can't Swim and Turnstile and Code Orange. Those would be my top current bands. And I got the autographed version. I don't know if you can see it too well on here, but I got an autograph up there of all the members there. We got Reba, we got Shade, we got Joe, Jamie, and Dom. Code Orange, Underneath. Perfect record. Can't wait for the new record next month. Love this band.
Ooh.
That's 3. And then here's another, because I got this on CD and vinyl. One of my favorite albums of all time. One of my favorite bands of all time.
I thought you got that on. I thought you bought the record.
I did buy the record.
Is it just
Here's the 2023 Urban Outfitters exclusive. The first Good Charlotte record. I love this band so much. Ridge, I'm not saying I don't know if you were a big Good Charlotte fan, but when I was young, when I was not even old enough to remember what music or what, I just remember being 6 or 7 and you're watching whatever the rock, what were the rock video? They had like MTV2 or like
MTV2 and like, was it VH1, 2? No. Fuse. They had Fuse, but before Fuse, it switched.
But they would have, obviously you weren't watching TRL. They were a TRL band too, but they were also on like the rock.
Yeah, they were on like those like later kind of like when people, not like the key times and TV watching, but they would just be in like random like rock punk kind of stuff, like video segments, but then eventually, then they made it to TRL.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, I always enjoyed them. I thought it was really cool, and plus like they always had like patches, and I would always like watch out for like the patches and their shirts and stuff to find new punk bands, because like it was always like GBA.
How many people were wearing agnostic front shirts
agnostic front, the Addicts,
TRL?
Like, there was a lot of like punk bands that I found out about from Good Charlotte.
See, people,
I think
show them respect.
Kennedy's, like back,
all of it. H2O, Madball. I mean, in the anthem, Benji is wearing a DMS, a DMS shirt, a Vietnam shirt. Those are some deep cuts right there. But I can't say enough great things about this record. I love it. So I originally had the original CD pressing.
You set a sticker on that.
Yeah, you got the hype sticker from the OG. This says, the debut album from Good Charlotte featuring Little Things, festival song, the Motivation Proclamation, new artwork. And then I got the fellas right there. I love that shot right there.
Nice.
The fellas. Love this band. You actually just got me into them with or without your knowledge, because I saw the Liberty spikes when I was a kid. I was like, that's pretty cool, So that is Good Charlotte, debut album. Love it. Listen to it all the time still. And here's another record. Now, people out there, I got a CD and vinyl of this. Don't fucking castrate me out here, because this is not my favorite album by this band. It's an album that I've listened to more than their other stuff.
Right.
Because little backstory, and that is Metallica's Reload. I got it the CD as well. I've played the CD a lot more because I've had it longer. I just got the vinyl pretty recent, double LP. Look at the fellas there. This was released in 1997. A little bit of backstory on this album. I used to just not like Load, Reload, or Saint Anger, because a lot of the reason is because people told me they weren't good. And as a younger guy, when you're younger, you are a little more set in your ways about music, and then just one day, I'll be honest, Chris Jericho changed it for me. He did a classic album clash where he does these podcasts against albums, and he did an album on his podcast, Load and Reload, and they did a panel of which songs they and it's one of the most entertaining podcasts I've ever listened to, and it got me into Load and Reload, and now I'm obsessed with this album. I don't care what you think or what you say. I think this is a really underrated record. It's still heavy. It's not thrash, but it's still heavy. And to me, it has some of James's best lyrics. And I'm a load, reload, and Saint Anger Stan now. So love them all. But just because I listened to all the old, the first five as a teenager and as a kid, that I'm giving more of these albums the love that they deserve, in my honest opinion. I don't know if you liked it at the time, because you were like teenager-ish when this came out.
I dipped out. Honestly, when I was a kid, I dipped out of Metallica after Master of Puppets, because I don't even think I got into Injustice for All until I was older, and then I listened to Injustice for All, and I was like, "Holy shit, this is insane!"
So, did you like the Black Album though?
I wasn't ever really a big fan of it. I mean, when I was a kid, I liked Enter Sandman, and
that's a fucking amazing record too.
I mean, but so I never I would always listen to with a buddy, listen to Garage Days and stuff like that. But I never. I mean, I know the hits off of Load and Reload, but I've never actually sat down and listened to them.
Well, if you like Black Sabbath, these are doomy, stoner, bluesy riffs.
Yeah, and then they've got some kind of some trucker riffs and stuff too.
Oh, it's it's just straight up hard rock, heavy metal.
Yeah.
It's got a southern rock twist to it. Yeah. But I'm a lyric guy. I know people don't care about lyrics.
I don't.
But James Hetfield on this album and Load James Hetfield, the most Metallica tattoos he has are from Reload. He has Carpe Diem Baby on him, tattooed on him, and I think he has lyrics from The Unforgiven 2 tattooed on him as well, but I'm not 100% sure. But and also on that, The Unforgiven 2 is by far one of the best Metallica songs of all time for me. It is way better than The Unforgiven 1, personally, for me.
Yeah.
And I love that song. So if I had to pick a favorite, The Unforgiven 2. And those are my first 5 picks. Ridge, you got some more for us?
Yeah. I think we lost some viewers with the Reload.
Hey.
No, I'm just joking.
Hey, it was still, it was not a success, but it was still a #1 album. Yeah. Still sold 3 million copies or whatever. It was a multi-platinum album. It wasn't a Saint Anger is a failure, but it still went platinum.
Yeah. But Metallica's well off. They can do whatever they want.
Yeah, and if they didn't do these albums, they would not be Metallica today.
Right.
That's why the best bands have the most diverse catalog. Like Slayer, no offense to the other big four.
God, Slayer's got so much early shit too.
Oh, Slayer is a fantastic. I love all the big four, but none of those bands could do this style.
No, I mean even Megadeth.
They tried it.
Megadeth is big and successful, but not anywhere near what Metallica's done.
No, they tried to do a hard rock album. Do you remember that they did the theme song for Goldberg?
Yeah.
Nitro Crush 'Em.
Oh God, that was bad.
Oh, I love Risk, but I'm sick in the head. But I do love that album, and also because the Goldberg thing, you just nostalgia.
Oh, I got to meet Goldberg in the J.C. Penney's parking lot,
Farmington.
Yeah.
One of my buddies, friend of the show, Sean Brumfield. He literally has the autograph still framed in his basement of Goldberg at J.C. Penney. So pretty cool.
Awesome.
But yes, Reload. Listen to it. Give it a chance.
All right, so I guess we're getting to my last five picks, and there's some good ones. These are actually, I was pulling them at random, but these are some heavy hitters for me. I'll just go with what's on the table right now, but would definitely be, God damn it, this stupid phone. Sorry, I forget years, so I have to jot everything down. Anyways, but it's the newest Chat Pile record, God's Country. Came out in 2022. Raw, pissed, grooving noise rock from Oklahoma City.
When this is your number one of last year?
This was my number one album of last year. No, maybe it was. I can't remember. It was definitely in my top 2 or 3. But there's just, this album's ridiculous. And it still is. The playability of this is insane. Every time I listen to it, I'm still in it and surprised.
Never gets old.
Never gets old. Just like this album. It's very, very old kind of ish album. Not like Black Sabbath old, but it would definitely be Glassjaw. Everything you wanted to know about Silence. I always forget the title, but
Ross Robinson produced.
Yeah, it's Ross Robinson produced. I don't like. What would you classify? Like, if you were trying to sell Glassjaw to somebody, what would
I can't. Like? There's tags of them even that says new metal, and that's just because of what label they were on, and they were with
Roadrunner,
and they did a Ross Robinson did the album.
Yeah,
but they're a little bit of, they're like,
it's weird.
Noise rock, post hardcore.
Yeah, it's like noisy kind of pissed off stuff with a lot of groove.
They're definitely pissed off.
They have an amazing, I don't know, I can't remember the names, but the bass player and guitarist, or bass player and drummer, groove real hard. But okay, so there's that one.
And there's a member of Glassjaw that's in Silent Majority, or was, or they're connected somehow, and I need to figure out who or when.
Yeah, well, I think now Glassjaw has, it's pretty much just like Daryl and maybe one of the other members. I don't know if Bear, if you're watching, if you can tell me which other member's still in Glassjaw. But so next one, we'll keep them fired,
keep them rolling.
Chelsea Wolf, Unknown Rooms, acoustic recordings. I got this a really long time ago, but it's still, I constantly spin this quite often. Folky kind of. She started out like doing like some black metal covers and stuff, but making them like folky and eerie and acoustic and stuff. But really love that one. Spin it quite often. It's probably pretty worn out, honestly, because I got it like I've had that since I moved to Cape, or when I moved to Cape. Next one, Sufjan Stevens, Carrie and Lowell. So I talk about Sufjan quite a bit. It's a very moving record for me. Love it. And then my last one is the heavy hitter.
There we go.
Maul, Seraphic Punishment, which came out last year, but
great record.
I think this this was in my top 10, but I can't. This band. I mean, if you like death metal, you like groove, you even like hardcore, I think you would love Maul. Everything they do, like all the notes, the lyrics, everything is well thought out. Like, it's great. And also, I did buy 2 of this and then got it on tape as well.
Great band live too. We got to see them this summer.
Yes. Yeah, we got to see them.
Very cool guys as well.
Quite a few weeks back at the old Sinkhole. It was amazing. I got a little too crazy for my old
Ridge was he was in the pit.
Was in the pit like a dummy, but that's a band that they mean quite a bit to me. Like I love their music.
You came out of pit mosh retirement.
I want them to come back to St. Louis because that show's insane. Like, they need to be at a bigger venue and pack that shit.
It seemed like they had a good time.
Yeah, it seemed like they did, but
that place was packed.
Yeah.
It was a pretty good lineup.
Oh yeah.
Good show.
All right. So I think that's all I got for this one. It's up to me
here. Okay, we'll do a couple. You got another CD here, hopefully to have it on vinyl, because on October 6th, they're about to release the first remastered box set. So, anybody Christmas presents for Jake? I may want this. And that is, once again, like Reload, not my favorite album by this band, but I've just become obsessed with it. Another like when you're, and that's Van Halen, OU 812, Sammy Hagar era. I love this album. And I'll be honest, I'm a Sammy Hagar guy. Sammy Hagar solo. Van Halen. I love all Van Halen. I love David Lee Roth. I love Sammy Hagar. I love the Gary Sharon album. Because to me, it's still all Eddie. He's the one that wrote the music.
Yeah.
He was all behind it. But I personally like Van Hagar better because I like the uplifting. People call Van Hagar like serious Van Halen. You know, like the Right Now and the When It's Love. But I love this album, and people say it needs a remix, it needs to be remastered. I disagree because I think albums like there's a charm to it's like Hotter Than Hell. Like it's cool because it sounds like the production is through a tunnel, you know. It's like Saint Anger. The production is cool to me. Like I don't think you should change things. And I love this record. If I had to pick an underrated favorite track, that would be the first track, Mine All Mine, one of the all-time great Van Halen songs. Killer solo, killer keyboards from Eddie, great lyrics from Sammy, and that is my first pick on the second round here. And then what we got next here is another fantastic album to me. One of my favorite bands. They game changers to me. They're fucking becoming, huge, and I love it. They deserve it. And that is Turnstile's Glow On from 2021. This has not been out of the rotation since it came out back in August of 2021. We're on it. It's about to be 2-year anniversary. Yeah. This band is everywhere now. They're opening for Blink-182, deservingly so. They're in Taco Bell commercials.
Turnstile fries.
They're playing Tyler the Creator's festival now. They're nothing more deserving to guys who I literally saw these guys at the Foo Bar in front of 200 people 5 or 6 years ago with Touche Amore, which was an amazing show. So it's really cool to see a band that you've been following for years now.
Right.
And this is also not my favorite, but actually the vinyl You Got Me a long time ago, Nonstop Feeling is my favorite, but I've played this more. It's just, I'm about to say a hot take here of my generation, of my age group. Right. This is the defining record. Like, you know how people had Nevermind, like Nirvana, or like the Black Album, or, or like Jane Doe. Jane Doe was a defining record of an age group.
It was.
An era. I think this is the defining record of an era. It's a masterpiece, no skips.
I never thought about it like that.
Yeah. I mean, wow. And Brendan Yates is the whole band, but Brendan Yates is an amazing songwriter. How he has these little textures and layers that he puts into hardcore songs, that's what makes it unique. Love that record. And then my next record is my absolute favorite record of all time. I've listened to this album more than any album ever. Controversial album, one of my favorite bands. Kiss, Crazy Nights from 1987. I've listened to this album more than any album in my life.
It's growing on me.
It's a party record. It's just fun. Not all music is meant to be serious and fucking, like heavy. This is just fun.
Well, just the
and look at the cover.
The track "Crazy Nights" makes you feel good.
Makes you feel good.
That's a very well written song.
I love it. It's one of their. I'm glad that they brought it back into the set list when we saw them the last time, which will be almost 4 years ago now at this point, which is crazy. They're still doing the End of the Road tour, and it's been 4 years. Yeah. But look at that. I just want to show this off. Look at Paul Stanley here. What have we got going on here, bud? You got the man thong here. What we got going on here?
I don't know.
And I also wanted
if I looked like that,
Paul Stanley, I would probably,
I'd be doing that.
But I also wanted to show this off. The person who originally owned this, I think it's pretty cool. They marked which tracks are good or not good. This is an OG copy from '87. I got this at Vintage Vinyl along with another one of my favorite albums of all time, Pretty Hate Machine. But it's not on the list because it's just not. But it's a great album too. But it's crazy. It's he put a star next to his favorite, or his or her or they, whatever, their favorite track, and it was Reason to Live. Reason to Live. But they didn't like My Way, which My Way happens to be my favorite song on the album. A lot of people don't like that song, but I love it.
I don't know. We'll spin that later. Maybe.
But I gave it a good cleaning today. Nice. Got it in a new outer sleeve. Sounds great.
Somebody's saying that Turnstile has tons of repeatability.
Absolutely.
It doesn't get old. I know who you are.
They were one of my. I mean, they weren't the gateway band, but for a lot of people of my age, they were a gateway band for hardcore. In general, I mean, they were not the first hardcore, but they were the first modern hardcore band I got into.
They were, and they've kind of brought that style of music out to the mainstream, mixing it with some of the mainstream, and then opening it up to a lot of other bands that are coming out now. So I think it's actually going to help music more. They are.
Absolutely. I mean, they still bring Jive Bomb. They've had Jive Bomb on shows. They Speed open for them in Australia. Like they're legends to me.
Dude, I heard a Scowl song on a Taco Bell commercial. That's
Scowl
insane.
is also great.
Scowl does rule. I watched. Have you seen the video of them performing in the Sonic parking lot?
I have not.
Oh man, it's awesome. It's really cool.
But I love Scowl, and I may get the alternative press cover, like because they're on the cover this month.
Oh really?
Yeah,
Nice.
I might start getting my Good Charlotte's on a cover too, so I'm gonna have to get 2 copies of.
Are they still active?
They do that management thing where they like interview bands and like sign, help bands out and artists. Hopefully they do more music, but we'll see. And then here is my absolute favorite artist band of all time. No and if buts about it. And I have a CD version and the OG vinyl. Nobody I listen to more as an artist or whole as Daryl Hall and John Oates. I love them. Big Bam Boom. I know it's Ridge's favorite. I'm just kidding.
No.
But
not very into boat rock.
But it's not boat rock. It's great songwriting.
I do respect it because I've been playing a bunch of like Bowie playlists and Talking Heads and stuff, and a bunch of Hall and Oates comes on. But I'm just like,
you should watch you should watch Live from Daryl's House.
Then I let it ride while I'm like cleaning or cooking or whatever. It's pretty cool.
If you want to see one of the greatest live bands in like just tight, like in the pocket, playing 100% live, Hall and Oates is the best. Classic, vintage, whatever, classic rock band live to me going. But this album, Big Bam Boom, very experimental for the time. Came out in 1984. They used a lot of technology that was like they were using samples. In 1984, it was not common to use samples or drum machines or synthesizers like the ones that they came out in the 80s. Like this album, go listen to this record, and it is very experimental for a pop album. And it has my favorite song ever made of all time. Should have been a #1 hit, Possession Obsession. And I got the remastered CD as well. Nice. I probably will get the cassette someday because I'm sick in the head and I got to own everything if I really love it.
I mean, when we're out shopping and stuff, I'm sure there's like a cheap copy. You can probably pick one up for like $4 or $5.
Oh, yeah. I mean, but that's the album. It's not my favorite of theirs, but it's the one I've listened to the most.
Right.
And then my last one, everybody knows, another badass band in the hardcore scene.
This is actually probably my other honorable mention, so we'll blend it.
No Pressure from last year, my favorite record of 2022. This record is amazing, no skips. I listen to it weekly still, never gets old. I love this band. It's crazy that they're with no social media. Yeah. They don't like super post stuff, and they're becoming huge. Like they just they're like our rule. They're like we play no shows with all of our shows no barricades. Like they don't want to play a barricaded show.
Yeah, and every single video I've seen from their live performances is packed, and there's just people all over the stage.
I want to see them in St. Louis. Hopefully, I don't know if it'll happen, but imagine them at the Sinkhole.
I wouldn't want to. I want to see them in a bigger place that doesn't have a barricade. Maybe
what's like
let's see if anybody.
Blueberry Hill doesn't have a barricade.
There you go. Blueberry Hill would probably be because it has a low enough stage to get on and dive.
I saw Drain. I saw the videos of Drain at Blueberry Hill, and I wish I was there. But No Pressure. It's members of Parker Cannon of The Story So Far, Harry from Regulate, and Pat from Light Years, which I think I met Pat in real life at Turnstile last year. He was the merch guy for Citizen, and I was drunk as fuck. And he's like, who is this guy? He was wearing an old Blink, a real vintage Blink shirt of like before Travis Barker days.
Yeah.
And I was like, dude, sick shirt. And he was just like, I mean, he was cool, but he was like, that was the day I spilt beer on the Truth Cult guys. Like, I was having a bad day. But
you dump and run?
No, I was telling a band like good set, and I dumped Bud Light on one of their how they have like the shirts, like are they demo shirts, like the ones that they put up in they're not actually for sale, but
they are. But I mean, when you get down to your last piece, you're still gonna try and sell.
And you know what? I'm sorry, Truth Cold. I should have bought merch because you guys were dope. But No Pressure, favorite album of 2022. Love this band. I can't say enough great things about them. If you like melodic hardcore, 90s, like, how do you do the drum beat, that beat, you'll love it. No pressure, self-titled. And those are my picks.
Yeah, I think that wraps it up for our top 10 albums, EPs, whatever from our collection.
That we own. Because there are some albums that I don't own, like Marauders, Master Killer. I'll never probably ever get that.
We'll get it one day.
John Floriani's solo album. There's a lot of stuff that is hard to get that I've listened to probably more, but I wanted to do stuff that I own. And I didn't even mention some of my favorite bands. I didn't put any Rancid, Madball, Hatebreed. Like, there was some bands I didn't put in here.
That's just kind of how it goes. Because, I mean, it just, a lot of, like, your music choices comes from your mood or kind of you want to get up. Feel
circumstance, good. Like where you're at. Like, you know, a lot of my normal civilian friends, I can't throw on The Rise of Brutality by Hatebreed. You know, so Van Hagar is like, okay, yeah, Van Halen, yeah, well, you know, so you can't just always put on Hatebreed, you know.
Right, exactly. But I think that pretty much wraps it up for this one. I do want to give a quick shout out. Me and Barrett and I from the ATI Podcast did a little interview with our buddy Zach Beery from Enemy Airship, and a little collab episode. It was amazing. It was a really good time. If you haven't at all heard the new album from Enemy Airship called Emperor Somehow, go stream it as soon as possible. It is amazing. If you like it,
there's vinyl too.
They have a pre-order for vinyl, and get on that because it's going to be smaller limited run, and I feel like it's going to sell very well. Like, this is a masterpiece for them, in my opinion. And if you don't want vinyl, do anything, support them on Bandcamp. Buy a digital copy.
Buy it on iTunes. Even.
Yeah.
I don't know I don't know how that works, but you can buy albums on iTunes still.
Yeah. You can just go from there. But also, I mean, you can go back to the ATI Podcast YouTube or their Spotify, I believe. There's an audio version of the interview.
Very good interview, by the way. You guys did great.
Yes. And just check that out. Support music. Support the ATI Podcast. If you like us, give us a like on YouTube. Check out our Instagram at WaxingRJ. I think that's it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, WaxingRJ.
I think. I'm agreeing with I'm just saying,
So we are terrible at social media.
Yes.
Barrett helps us out a lot.
Barrett, you are the man.
I hate my phone sometimes, but yeah. But that's all I've got for this week.
I do want to plug another live show because I do like mentioning live shows that are coming up in our area. A show that I think me, Ridge, and Barrett are all going to October 19th at Blueberry Hill. Yes. Harm's Way, the mighty Harm's Way, have announced their first tour they haven't toured in a full tour in like 4 or 5 years.
I seen them years ago.
I've seen them twice.
At the Atomic Cowboy with Dead in the Dirt, and it was awesome. I think Barrett was at that show. I believe so. Maybe. Barrett, were you at that show?
But it was a stacked. This tour is a stacked lineup. Go see them with Fleshwater, Ingrown, and Jive Bomb. And I cannot wait. We will be there. So October 19th.
Yes.
Go see Harm's Way. October 22nd, also go see Emarosa. If you want to, get your boogie shoes and fucking dance a little, go see Emarosa. And go see live music.
Yeah.
That's all I got to say. Go to shows. Listen to something that you usually wouldn't listen to.
I've got a show I want to
I listen to fucking weird-ass Death Doom shit that I don't listen to, but, you gotta listen to something once to know if you like it or not.
Yeah. I've got another show that I want to plug before we jump off of here. Fister is playing probably one of their... they're not going to be playing many shows after this one. But Fister, Snort Dagger, Buddy Noah's band, and Van Buren, which I haven't checked out, but I've been seeing them on quite a bit of flyers. So they're all playing at the Sinkhole on September 1st at 7 p.m. Friday.
That's Labor Day weekend, isn't it? So it's like a long weekend.
When the hell is
Labor
Day weekend?
It's the first weekend of September.
Okay, so yeah. Get out there Friday night, feeling fresh, and go see Fister just absolutely annihilate.
I'm about going.
Cool. I've told Marcus I wanted to go, I was going to go. So we'll probably make it. But I can't seeing Fister in Sinkhole, that place is so small. Definitely bring the earplugs for that one.
Yeah. I'm earplugs no matter, because like I'm already like, what? Now, and I'm only 26. So, yeah, go see live music, buy albums. And this is our 10 albums that we've listened to the most.
Yes. See you guys later. We'll be back with another episode soon. Bye.
This is Barrett from the ATI Podcast. Each week, Josh and I discuss current events, pop culture, music, TV, movies, politics, sports. Nothing is out of bounds. You can also tune in to learn about rising artists, small businesses. Whether it's music, graphic design, filmmaking, or even a brick-and-mortar mom-and-pop shop, we will be spotlighting folks and their endeavors. Listen to us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Amazon Music, Anchor, or anywhere you enjoy your podcasts. Just search ATI Podcast. We would like to thank you for your continued support, and as always, please stay safe out there.
Hey, this is Josh from ATI Podcast. For show updates and news about the podcast, follow us on social media. You can follow us on Facebook at facebook.com/ATI Podcast22, on Twitter at podcast_ATI, on Instagram at the ATI Podcast, on TikTok at ATI Podcast. DMs are always welcome. Have a question for the show? You can always email us at atipodcastquestions@gmail.com. Stay safe out there.